Alright, you tech-savvy bastards. Here are a couple of tips for everyone playing Surge 2. First couple of tips are for newcomers to Surge series. Surge operates on principle of collecting armor sets and weapons by cutting off body parts of your enemies. By cutting off right arm you get weapon. By cutting off head you get implant sometimes. By cutting off any armored part you get schematic for the armor enemy is wearing, but only for the part that is cut. So to collect full set you need to cut armored arm, body, head and leg. After receiving schematics, every subsequent cutting off same enemy type grants materials for crafting. Same principle is for weapons when cutting off right arm. Only difference is that weapons don't need to be crafted. Here is a tip for everyone. To craft any full set you need to craft 2 arms and 2 legs next to helmet and body. Arms are not a problem because if enemy has armored right arm, you get materials for weapons and arms armor in one. Head is also popular target because of implants. That leaves body and legs as less frequently focused parts. So my advice is to focus legs as much as possible because after a while I was severely lacking in leg materials. For faster progression, overall easier experience with the game and more scraps gained, simply target unarmored parts because damage done is higher that way. Also by killing enemies without going to medbay, scrap multiplier is increased, leading to better gains. So stick with fast kills to get scraps faster and multiplier up as well. Destroying armored parts is only useful for getting schematics and materials. Upgrading gear is vital to success. Every area has enemies that have certain gear level. It is displayed next to their health bar. This indicates if you should fight them or fuck off if they are 2 or 3 levels higher. Gear level also indicates which tier of materials they drop. So upon entering area with higher level enemies, farm for materials first, upgrade gear and then proceed to destroy every living and non-living thing. Important thing to know about upgrading armor and implants is that you can convert higher level materials into lower level materials. So basically farming higher level materials is much more efficient than farming lower level ones. Meaning if you find in one location enemies that are level 6 and level 5, it is much more worth it to farm materials from higher level enemies, which in this case would be level 6. Don't panic if you can't unlock doors or use cable lines. Surge 2 has insane amount of shortcuts and everything is connected in some way. Stick with progression route at first and upon unlocking new progression based items get back to explore a bit more. Items that are connected to game world are unlocked through story progression. These items are EMP drone that opens up locked doors, force hook that enables use of exolines, lifter hook that enables going up on exolines, and special attack much later in the game that enables destruction of some weird nanotype blockages. Now let's talk about combat a bit. Offensively, most important thing to know are cross combos. These are 3-hit combos that are particularly effective against armored or unarmored parts. R1, R2, R2 is fantastic against armored parts and R2, R1, R1 is fantastic against unarmored parts. These 2 combos are the only ones you need to know in the whole game because they are the most effective. Every time you pull one off, there will be cross combo notification on the screen. Defensively there are many options. You can block, dodge, parry, duck under and hop over attacks. Block and dodge depend on the leg armor you are using. Usually Goliath type armor sets have increased stamina consumption when dodging. In that case blocking is better option in most cases because even if guard is broken, heavy armor type mitigates more damage. Parries are very powerful but need good enough reaction time to pull off. More time spent with game means more successful you are going to be parrying attacks because timing won't be such a problem anymore. To be effective at parrying you need implant that shows from which side attacks are coming. Parrying is also much easier to do against slower attacks than fast ones, so versus fast enemies stick to blocking and dodging. I suggest getting good at parrying because this is very useful against bosses and most enemies. Ducking and hopping is done by pressing and holding for a brief moment sprint button while staying still. This leads to counterattack that staggers enemies. They are however tough to pull off and can only be successfully performed when enemies are doing horizontal attacks. Equipping Impellant that shows direction of incoming attacks helped tremendously in pulling this off. To be perfectly honest, I wasn't using hopping and ducking at all, because parries are far more effective in my opinion. Pay attention to stats on gear as well. Some sets are better for evading, some for standing your ground, some do more damage versus armored parts, some do more damage versus unarmored parts, and so on. Here are a couple of small tips to end the video. In Surge 2, scraps are dropped upon death and stay there for 2.5 minutes. Cool thing is that dropped scraps have healing aura around it. This can be particularly useful against bosses. Let scraps sit and heal you while dealing with big bastards. Last thing I'm going to say in this video is do not forget banking those damn scraps. Don't fool around walking with millions in your pockets. Higher level upgrades and levels are very expensive. Anyway, that would be all for this video. I hope these tips will help you in the Surge 2. Thanks for watching and have fun.